Hello everyone, how are you, and I hope you like my channel, which this time discusses a film entitled Havoc or Malapitaka. So that you don't get bored while watching, please prepare a bowl of instant noodles and a cup of iced tea so that when watching it will feel more enjoyable. And let's start the discussion right away. Set in a city with a very high crime rate. The story begins by showing a chase scene between four robbers driving a truck and several police officers chasing from behind, causing an accident that almost killed one officer. Escaping from the police, the robbers led by a couple named Charlie and Mia immediately got out of the car to hand over the loot. There was already someone waiting there, a man named Ching who was a member of the Asian Triad group. After Ching escorts Charlie and Mia inside, there is a young man who is the only son of the big boss of the Triad. Apparently the goods that the two of them robbed contained very valuable drugs and they were paid very high for this risky job.
Putting a cop in ICU with a fucking washing machine? I see you.
Just as Charlie and Mia are still inside, a car full of masked men shows up and tells Ching to leave immediately. And guess what these masked men do? And the story will focus on a reluctant policeman named Walker who is buying a Christmas present for his daughter. It is known that Walker has separated from his wife because Walker often receives illicit money, so it takes more effort for Walker to persuade his ex to allow him to meet his beloved child.
I'm trying here.
Showing up with a present doesn't count.
We don't want your dirty money.
Salary can't cover these costs. What do you want me to do?
Don't make me out to be the bad guy.
And a year ago, no explanation.
Refused to meet, Walker continued patrolling with his fellow policewoman who was still an intern named Eli. Unlike Walker, who was tired of being a police officer, Eli still seemed enthusiastic about her duties because this had been her dream for a long time.
How old is she?
6. She's,
And that's all they had?
yeah, that's all they had.
When I was a kid,
Not long after, Walker received a call from the operator to come to a shooting scene that had just occurred, which he arrived at. Walker was shocked to see several bodies covered in blood, one of the victims being the only son of the big boss of the Triad. With his decades of experience working in the criminal investigation unit, he was able to create a predictive hypothesis to see how the perpetrator carried out the shooting, and this is what happened. Not long after, one of the officers showed CCTV footage showing the face of a young man who was none other than Charlie, who was suspected of being the perpetrator, was silent because he knew Charlie very well. Walker tried to act normally as if he didn't recognize him at all.
A lot of dead people here. Never got a shot or buy me an assault rifle. We may be looking for somebody else. You got a body to go with this mess?
No, we don't. Maybe they got in a car?
All right.
Yes, sir.
Without wasting any time, Walker immediately went somewhere to meet someone who was Charlie's father, who turned out to be the most respected mayor named Lawrence. Just like conventional officials in general, Lawrence has a dark side behind the scenes, namely often using dirty money to support his career in the election. One of his trusted people in the field is none other than this Walker figure.
9 bodies. A coke deal gone bad, real bad. And then I see this on CCTV. Who's that? You recognize that kid? Charlie?
With the fact that his son Charlie was involved in a crime, Lawrence asked Walker to help him find his son and bring him home immediately. However, because Walker was tired of doing dirty work for his boss, he made a deal that if I managed to bring Charlie home, I would stop doing dirty work, boss. And Lawrence had no choice but to agree.
We square. That's what it will cost. Get him back. And I never see your fucking face again.
The next morning we will be introduced to the big boss of Triad, a woman and mother to her only son who has died. The sadness is clearly visible in her eyes, so that not long after she saw her son's body, the boss immediately met Ching and his 3 men to ask for accountability for the death of her beloved son. Back to Walker, who is seen in the Asian district to meet one of his spies who is a doctor. Coincidentally, the doctor is treating one of the guards who survived last night's incident, and this is what happens. After carrying out quite painful intimidation, Walker managed to get a few clues about the perpetrators, who were wearing hockey masks or masks commonly used in hockey to hide their faces.
That's what I have to work with.
They shot him. They shot Mr. Choi.
Next time I won't make it look so convenient.
After the doctor, Walker immediately went to the hospital to visit his comatose police partner. The result of an accident in a chase the other night, where we will be introduced to Walker's former teammates, one of whom is named Vincent, who seems cynical about Walker's presence there.
Alright, it's been cool. Great catching up. If you don't mind, I want to see our friend.
Her name is Engie, the wife of Walker's colleague who is in a coma. Tells the story of her husband, who was delirious about their last action during the drug investigation, which turned out to be 2 years ago. Walker, Vincent, and 3 other colleagues including Engie's husband did a dirty job, namely stealing drugs and some money at the crime scene, where the unexpected happened when Walker hit a man who had just arrived, who turned out to be an intelligence police officer assigned to the crime scene. Just when the intel was having trouble breathing, Walker and his friends realized that he was a police officer just like them. Walker, who felt guilty, intended to take him to the hospital immediately. But Vincent did not agree with the idea, considering that their actions would definitely be found out. So this is what happened.
We're taking him, Vince, in a discussion.
Switch to Mia and Charlie, who are asking for help from their uncle, named We Just Call Uncle, to make a fake passport so they can escape abroad. At the same time, Eli, who is in the office, also managed to get information about the figure of the uncle, who is the owner of a workshop, so he immediately conveys the information to Walker.
Yeah, that's good. Look at you, killer.
Yeah.
Found that doorman.
At the same time, in another place, we will see Lauren, the mayor, who is sulking because she is stuck in a long traffic jam, where she is not aware that she is currently under threat because the big boss of the Triad has sent some of his best men to capture Lauren alive, and this is what happens. After Lauren was arrested, we will return to Walker, who has arrived at his uncle's workshop to find out where Mia and Charlie went. Without much fuss, his uncle immediately told him about a club that Charlie and his nephew often went to. So without wasting time, Walker immediately went to the location at that time.
You need the girl to stay alive, right? Mia, right?
Yeah.
Mia's all right.
Meanwhile, the Triad boss seems to still be unable to calm down before he can catch Charlie and avenge the death of his only son. Until finally one of Charlie's friends who had participated in the robbery appeared and stupidly told him about a club where Mia and Charlie were often seen. Long story short, night fell. Walker was seen arriving at the club according to his uncle's instructions. Without wasting much time, Walker managed to find Mia sitting alone and immediately asked her to persuade Charlie to return to his father Lawrence. But before they finished talking, Vincent and his two friends appeared who both wanted to hunt Charlie for some unknown purpose.
Come on, Walker, she's a suspect.
That all right? There gonna be a problem?
I'll give you 2 guesses.
Walker, I've asked nice.
There was a bit of tension. The heated moment was immediately stopped when Tria's troops were sent there to capture Charlie. So this is what happened. A super brutal fight broke out when Walker and Mia had to survive from 2 parties, Tria and Vincent and friends. Where when Mia was cornered, Charlie and the uncle who had just come from outside appeared, and this is what happened. While Vincent and friends were busy facing the Triad troops, Walker took the opportunity to take Mia and Charlie away from the club. But unexpectedly, several police officers came according to residents' reports. But having no other choice.
Look at my bag! Drop my get out my car!
Having no other choice, Walker and his friends were forced to go back into the club to protect themselves, where the uncle was determined to sacrifice himself to protect his niece Mia. Walker, Mia, and Charlie managed to escape through the back door. After knowing Vincent and Co.'s involvement in this matter, Walker realized one thing, that the life of his friend who was in a coma in the hospital was now in danger because he could be a witness to their involvement. So Walker immediately contacted Eli to immediately go to the hospital where his friend was being treated.
They're the ones that shot up Joyce. Ellie,
Jesus dead.
I swear to God, wherever I go, I will call you straight away. I promise. Just please get to the hospital.
And sure enough, at this time Vincent was in contact with Ching to quickly finish off Sirkin aka Engie's husband, which was right when Eli had just arrived at the hospital. Ching had already prepared to finish off his partner. And this is what happened. Just when Engie was about to be killed by Ching, Eli appeared from behind intending to save his life, however. After Eli successfully captures Ching, we return to Walker, who takes Charlie and Mia to his grandfather's old cottage, where Walker immediately takes the opportunity to contact Lawrence about his son who has been found, without realizing that his phone is currently in the hands of the Triad boss, who automatically knows where the 3 of them are.
You hear me? Lawrence.
Without wasting any time, the Triad boss immediately went to the location, bringing Lawrence along to witness firsthand how his son Charlie would die and feel what it was like to lose a beloved son. Meanwhile, Eli was seen visiting Walker's wife and daughter's house to ask about a place that Walker might have visited.
He has this place down by the lake. It's his father's old cabin.
After getting the location of Grandpa Walker's old cottage, Eli went to the train station with what would be used as bait to lure the appearance of Vincent and his remaining friend. As planned, Vincent and Sean came to the location with a bag containing drugs and
Buyer.
That's right, the buyer.
Ching, where's the buyer?
On his way.
Freeze! Don't even try it.
just as Eli managed to capture the 3, Walker himself was seen preparing to welcome Lawrence, who was going to pick up his son Charlie. But unexpectedly what appeared was a dozen Triad troops who intended to bombard the hut, and this is what happened. Just like the scene in the movie The Raid, Walker and his friends must survive by hiding in a hut. Amidst hundreds of flying bullets, Walker intelligently targets each enemy who tries to get inside. almost died from gunfire coming from under the floor. Walker then took the enemy's weapon that was already lying down. And this is what happened. Walker was completely overwhelmed by the Triad troops that kept appearing when his bullets ran out. Walker took an iron hook that was in the hut. And this is what he did. When the shooting squad is finished, the blonde woman who is the most skilled criminal or person in this Triad group appears. Unlike the others, this woman has quite good martial arts skills and seems more suitable to face Batman or Robin Hood. So Walker was helpless against this one figure. When Walker was silent after being hit by the rubble of the roof, the blonde woman slowly approached him to make sure he was dead. Just as the blonde woman died and Walker fainted from exhaustion, Mia and Charlie were immediately captured by the Triad troops to be handed over to the new big boss who had just arrived, where Lawrence was given a gun and forced to choose who should die between the two of them.
Please, shoot through me!
Do it!
I promise you, Mama.
No!
Just when Lawrence and Charlie were still involved in the drama, Eli appeared, who brought Shane, Vincent and one of his friends. This is where it was finally revealed that the three people who wore hockey masks and killed the big boss's son were actually Vincent and his two friends, according to Ching's orders, who had long wanted him dead. It turns out that Ching secretly wants the position of chairman to replace the big boss's son, who is considered a snotty kid. He deliberately conspired with Vincent to carry out the massacre and make Charlie the scapegoat for the incident. The boss's mother really did not expect that the perpetrator who had caused her son's death was her own trusted person who had long served in this Triad group. Where when the big boss was still sad, Vincent's colleague quickly took down Eli and intended to finish off Charlie. However, just as Walker regained consciousness, a shootout occurred between Vincent CS and the Triad group, where Ching managed to get a gun and immediately shot the big boss's mother at that moment. Shortly after Ching managed to kill his employer, he immediately hid while making a bag containing his drugs. However, Vincent did not let that happen and immediately shot Ching until he was dying. For his partner, he managed to slaughter the entire Triad army by himself. Then he targeted Eli, who was still alive, to finish him off. Where Charlie, who had lost a loved one, did not just give up and let him go, so this is what he did. Just as Vincent was running away with his bag of drugs, Walker accidentally saw it and tried to give chase. Vincent apparently intended to escape using a passing train, however. Having negotiated with Walker about what the benefits would be of preventing him from escaping, Walker said that there were 3 innocent good people who had lost their lives, namely Engie, her husband, and the intelligence police who died 2 years ago after being shot by this idiot Vincent. So it was very fitting that Vincent received a fitting punishment for what he had done. After everything was done, Mia and Charlie continued their plan to escape out of town. Eli deliberately let them both go because he was considered not directly involved in this problem. As for Walker, he felt guilty for his past actions of often doing dirty work eating dirty money for the mayor, so he was very receptive to the disaster that befell him at this time. According to the title of this film, namely Havoc, aka Disaster, Walker also intended to surrender himself to the police and ask Eli for help to deliver a Christmas present to his beloved daughter. And the film is finished.